Do you love planning in a paper planner, but you don't want to miss meetings or appointments? Or maybe you need to use your digital calendar for work, but you feel more organized with a paper planner. I want you to stay tuned into this episode so you can learn how to seamlessly fuse the two together using a digital calendar with a paper planner. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Tiffany Shelton Mariol, neuropsychologist, published author, and founder of Mod Ambition. I post every week about making your dreams a reality and having it all without the overwhelm. So please tap that subscribe button. So by the end of today's episode, you're going to know how to integrate both a digital and a paper planning system without being overly redundant or missing anything, so you can plan with confidence and with ease. I've been using this system for a while, and when I stick to using it, it actually works flawlessly. And quickly, I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by my new company, Mod Ambition, and the Mod Ambition Planner for Busy Women is going to be launching July 12th, and I'm so excited to share it with you guys. This is a goal planner that is infused with a goal-getting workbook to help grown women manifest big goals, along with thorough planning pages that will guide you to productively achieving all of those goals. So again, it is launching July 12th. You can visit signup.modambition.com to learn more about the planner and see pictures. I have a prototype here if you're watching this on YouTube, and you can check out more at signup.modambition.com. So have you ever missed an appointment or an important meeting and you felt that gut-wrenching, awful feeling that you forgot something very, very important? It's the worst feeling. I can think about times that this happened to me, and I know I hate it. Recently, I had reached out to a client that I had worked with in the past in my program, Dream Life Academy, and I was excited to catch up with her, and we had scheduled a time to catch up and chat. I missed this meeting more than once, and the guilt still lingers with me. If you're listening, I'm sending you a big virtual hug for your patience with me. I'm grateful for your graciousness. This happened in a time of chaos with my kiddos being sick constantly, back and forth between the two of them, and things just started slipping between the cracks. The times that I've found myself in these situations that I miss appointments are the days that I don't start the day looking at my planner. For this situation, my client, I had gotten calendar reminders, but my mind just starts to go blank to phone reminders after a while. So for me, I had to make many unfortunate situations and mistakes of not looking at my physical paper planner to realize that this is when I'm at my best, is when I'm looking at my paper planner every day. So I need to use both, not just the reminders from the phone, but also having the physical combination of digital and analog planning helps me not let things slip between the cracks. And honestly, if I had to choose, I think my paper planner would win out over digital planning alone, just because it does help me just keep things top of mind, the act of writing, having it in front of me. In fact, there are many reasons that paper planning has a leg up on digital planning, actually. Luxifor.com wrote an article sharing 5 science-backed reasons that paper planners are actually better than digital planners. Number 1, you're less distracted, so you are taking a moment away from the screens to plan in a paper planner. It offers you an opportunity to clear your head and plan with more focus. Number 2, you remember things better. The article said, you've probably heard this one, and it's true, writing stuff down actually helps you to memorize it better, but there's more to it than that. Not only writing by hand makes us formulate our plans and to-dos better, it stimulates certain brain cells at the base of the brain to increase focus. Number 3, they said, is you're more motivated by the goals you write down by hand. Number 4 was it reduces stress by helping us be more mindful. They said there are many studies to show the link between writing things down by hand and mindfulness. And number 5, I mentioned, it's just a healthy habit. So committing to regularly planning with your paper planner forms supportive habits to your life. You're more likely to be consistent with your planning habit with the physical reminder of a planner on your desk. So those are some great points I thought that they made, but I know in this digital world that many of you likely use both a digital calendar and analog assets to organize your life. So let's talk about a little bit about using both a digital calendar and a paper planner. First, let's use the Mod Ambition planning pillar, which is the pillar in a system I've created to having it all without the overwhelm. The first pillar is planning. So let me share the tenets of this planning pillar, which are going to help us. The first is intention and values. The second is prioritize and organize. And the third is boundaries and flexibility. All of these tenets shape how I incorporate digital and paper planning into a system that works for me. And while you don't have to copy these, I hope you can take what works for you as well, and that it can help you. So number one is to start with your intentions and what's most important to you about planning. How would you like planning to serve you? Do you want to just be reminded of appointments and meetings? Is your intention to use your planner to stay on track with your goals? Do you want to use your planner to document your life and track your habits? You can see how clarifying your intention first, right, will help you come up with a better hybrid system of using digital and analog planning. Next, prioritizing and organizing is very helpful when teasing out what task will be digital and what will be paper. For instance, if your priority is planning to achieve your goals, you may focus many of your planning efforts on strategizing in a physical goal planner. Makes sense, right? And then lastly, I want you to consider boundaries and flexibility when thinking about your hybrid system. I want you to know that the system won't always be perfect, right? And you have the permission to ebb and flow into what works best for you when you're trying to come up with a way to combine the two. Okay, so with all of that explained, let's jump into how I'm using a digital calendar with my paper planner, the Mod Ambition Planner, which I just showed you guys. Okay, so the first thing I do is I have digital calendars for every pretty much category in my life because they all have emails associated with them, and I congregate all of them into my iCal. So I have a personal calendar, which is a Gmail account. I have a corporate calendar with my job, which is an Exchange account, I believe. I have a calendar for my side business through Exchange as well. I have a personal brand calendar, so I have my email, Tiffany at TiffanyShelton.com. It has a calendar, which I kind of put like my writing task. I haven't shared this with you guys, many people, but I have another book deal. I'm currently writing a book. I have deadlines for my editor, and so I use that calendar for that because this kind of goes with that brand. And I try to keep all of my calendars as up to date as possible in my digital planning. That way, when I do sit down to use my paper planner, everything is up to date and I can kind of reference it according to my what's already like in my calendar as far as meetings and appointments when I'm using my paper planner to not only plan out when I have meetings, but also I time block in my paper planner. So I kind of time block around that. So that brings me to number 2, which is to consult your digital calendars when you're planning. So each week during my weekly planning session, which for me, I've shared this with you guys before, is on Fridays. I look at my calendar when I'm sitting down, my digital calendars when I'm sitting down to plan the week, which they're all in one place because they're in my iCal and they're color coded according to what calendar they go to. And then I plan out my week. I look at like the most important appointments and those types of things. I look at my running to-do list, which is in my weekly paper planner. And then I assign things to the different days in my week according to what I already have scheduled as far as meetings and appointments, what days are more free, and what days I bat certain tasks on. So I have different days of the week that I do different tasks on. So I'll just kind of plan those out. I first add in my meetings, and then I also make any needed changes or updates throughout the week. If those change if I know I changed something in one of my digital calendars, I'll make sure I'll go change it if I've already planned out my week during the week in my paper planner as well. And then in the day-to-day planning in my paper planner, I can be more detailed during my daily planning and use analog tracking within my planner. If you have getting the Mod Ambition Planner, it has tracking for quarters, it has tracking for month goals, it has tracking for daily habits and routines that you want to set. So I do that on a daily basis, and that's kind of why I also like using both, because you can't really do that in iCal, right? You can't track those things. You don't have your vision board all in one place, but I can be more detailed because I've already input all those meetings to the days, and I'm kind of working around it, time blocking around those things. And I also, like I mentioned, do my weekly to-do list in my paper planner, and I'll talk about my running to-do list that's digital a little bit later. I also consult my digital calendar before I do any meal planning, because if I have like a particularly hard day, like for instance, a day that I have to be in the office all day, which is like once a week, once every 2 weeks, I go into the office to test folks as a neuropsychologist. And those days are rough for me because I'm so used to working from home that when I get back from the office, because I am an introvert, I'm a little bit drained. And so when I'm planning the week, I make sure to put an easy meal on those days when I'm looking at my digital calendar and seeing that I have like a hard day lined up of clients, for instance. And then yearly strategic planning that I do in like my goal planner. I do that in my physical paper planner. I also plan my year as far as paper planning just strategically on a large, I can't think of the word, laminated calendar, yearly calendar. So some of you guys may have seen, if you follow me on Instagram, when I do that at the end of the year or the beginning of the year, I plan out my year, like when I'm going to put launches, when I'm going to put like product launches, vacations for our family, major life events, birthdays. I put that on the yearly one because that goes up in my office, which I'm looking at over here. And I can kind of reference that throughout the year while I am planning my quarters, my months, my weeks, my days. I have that kind of bird's eye view of the year and how things need to fit in and kind of shape. So that yearly and that goal planning really does dictate much of the day-to-day, quarter, weekly, all the other smaller milestones, because I already have those larger goals. Like I said, in the Mod Ambition Planner, there is a goal planner at the very beginning of the planner. You'll see this whole front section before the quarterly planning is, and the monthly planning, weekly planning, all that stuff is a goal planner. I think it's also important to note that my paper planner stays in my home office, my work from home office. I don't travel with my planner. This helps me be more consistent with using it because it's always on my desk. I like to keep it in one place. I know a lot of women like to travel with their planners, put it in their purse, or maybe you might leave it at your work office. I really like having it. First of all, I like larger pages because I'm a grown woman with a full life and big goals. I want to have space and give myself space when I am planning. So I like larger planning pages. So I like a larger planner, so that makes it more convenient just to keep it in one spot. Let me know what you guys prefer in the comments below. Do you like to keep it in one spot or do you like to move it around? Because I always think that's kind of interesting how different folks have different strokes. Also, weekend planning is done in my paper planner because, it is not something I really need to put in my digital. A lot of things that we do, unless it's something I'm doing with my husband, then we will put in a digital calendar because we'll share the appointment. That way it's on both of our schedules. But largely, like the things that I want to do with the kids or activities, I like to plan out a couple activities for the weekend for me and my kids because they love activities. They hate being bored, which sometimes I let them because it's just healthy. But I find the weekends go better when I have activities planned for them that stimulate them and wherever they're at developmentally. So I do all that kind of planning because it is less formal in my paper planner as well. And then the third way, or the third tip I have for you when it comes to using both a digital calendar and a paper planner is to enhance your follow through with digital features. So reminders in your phone are very helpful for things that you want to remember. I mentioned we can get tunnel vision, so you want to put them in both, but having those reminders most of the time are going to be helpful. Also, softwares like Calendly, where you can book appointments with someone else without having to go back and forth. They can just see your calendar through Calendly. If you use software like HoneyBook or on your website, you can integrate that as well. Also, I have my running to-do list, which I mentioned earlier, of all the things I want to get done. I have different categories, different boards in Trello. So I have a to-do list board. I have basically a running to-do list for every segment of my life. So personal, family, health, and my job, as well as my business. And then I kind of pick and choose from those lists when I'm doing my weekly planning, because maybe I can show you guys here. And this is a prototype that I use like for social media and stuff, this planner. But you can see here, I have a list on the side. Maybe you can see here for each week to put your weekly to-do list in the planner. And I usually pull from my Trello board to do that. Technology is also great when you're emailed an appointment. You can just click on it and add it to your calendar. So I think everyone uses that option. And then I do all my business planning digitally as well. And Google Drive is kind of where all my systems and procedures are for my business, as well as my business plan, strategic planning, all that kind of stuff. I usually do my business planning because it's usually just in a Word document and I guess a Google Doc and Google Drive. And then, of course, as you're building a team and your team, whether that's your business team or family, it's always convenient to plan with others digitally. So inviting them to meetings or appointments, or if you have, a team that you work with, being able to plan together digitally for appointments and calendars and meetings, it's always helpful. So those are my tips on hybrid planning. As a reminder, the Mod Ambition Planner for Busy Women is launching July 12th. Pray for me, guys. I'm excited, but of course I'm also nervous because it's something that I've worked really hard on. It's a goal planner infused with a goal getting workbook, like I said, that I worked really hard on. It has planning pages. I wanted to include everything. It comes with plans. It comes with sticky notes, big pockets. So I put a lot of work into this, and of course I am nervous putting it out to the world. If you want to see it and just support, or if you want to sign up to get your notification from when we launch, it is signup.modambition.com. I'm certain you're going to love it, and let me know what you guys think of it as well. And I would love to end this episode by offering an intention for you this week. May your plans be grand and your manifestations be abundant. Oh, and if you like this episode, please follow the podcast and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, namaste.